So, PS have put out a new video chat, and you know how much I love PS videos. So you better believe we're watching it. So this is 2 years of New Genesis. Like always, if you're watching it after the fact and you're watching live, since we're all doing it live, I will put it in chat in a moment. But if you're watching it after the fact, link to that video will be in the description. So let's jump into this. And let's see how our bud PS is feeling about PSO 2 years later, especially now that the pod is officially done. So let's do that, chat.
Man, what a roller coaster ride. And you know what? Right now we're close to getting 100,000 billion subscribers. So if we can hit that 200 jillion subscribers before Tears of the Kingdom releases, you could have a chance of winning one free collector's edition of absolutely fucking nothing. So like and subscribe.
Where you at now? 1.5K?
This has been quite a complicated
You need more
relationship to have with a video game. This community really isn't as large as the other big games like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14 or Animal Soccer World. And because of that, it's weirdly felt more like an intimate experience. All of the people who ended up absolutely hating the game at certain points left like there was some kind of gas leak in the building. But those who stuck around talked about our struggles with the game like we're some kind of soldiers stuck in a war camp. By our own choice.
You're not warned by that. We do, chat. Every one of us do. that is so accurate. Oh God, that's so accurate.
Injured from updates that didn't fix the game fast enough, or getting crappy scratch tickets, and most
adding content
our feelings.
That
and then, you know, like that's
logical
really
parts of it.
So if you were like me during this journey, you were shitting pretty hard on the game. Like some kind of vengeful cactus that was slowly creeping up your butt in the only...
For the work, we weren't shitting on the game. We were breaking it down on a design. Who am I kidding?
Only way to make it feel better was complaining about it on Discord. There was a point in time where even
you guys don't dream.
Thinking about New Genesis was enough to put me in some kind of pointless nerd rage, like a library, a basement dweller literature began to constantly fill my mind, and all I wanted was for the game to burn in a big fire, and I wanted to be the one who lit the match, hoping something new would rise from the shit ashes of the...
Hey, might be copium, but we did get Primo reset at the end of the last chapter, so I'm still not putting a lot of faith into it, but we can hope. Right? Let's be honest, it could still be the same game. Anyway.
Burnt crap garbage, but something changed. I got laid,
the ending.
Went outside and touched some grass, and then immediately ran back inside to break up with my chatbot girlfriend. Told her that I faked it every time we had fake internet sex, and went back to playing good old video games. And then also I played the latest PSO2 NGS update.
There it is.
Is the game a full buffet of content? Not yet. Is the game better and more worth playing because of the last update? Yes. It's been a rough...
Yeah, I'm in the camp. I'm in the camp, honestly. Of like, if you continuing to play it, like you play it constantly, or like at least 1 time a week, 2 times a week, you know, you've been keeping up with the update. I would say at that point it doesn't really matter because you're gonna play this update anyway. But I would say if you took a break, like at some point you've been gone for, you know, at least, you know, 4 or 5 months, if not longer, then I would say just to, you know, get to the point of like the blank slate we are entering now, and hope this is just like episode 1. Hopefully all this by the end will matter for the most part, kind of. By the end, I mean by episode 3. Because, you know, episode 4, 5, and 6 are their own can of worms. But yeah, I would say if you took months off, then absolutely. If you're always playing the game, you know, you were going to do the update anyway. But is it still a reason to stick around after being an update? Like long term? Especially if you're someone that took months off? No. But like I stated when we were playing through it, at least the update did make my mind get all jelly and go into some heavy fan fiction territory that the game never really done beyond a prologue stream. So That good wine, I guess.
2 years. And if you've been through it from the start of the global release, then congratulations. You finally get to see the brighter side of what happens when we all have a little bit of patience. Did all that bitching and complaining change anything along the way?
Nah.
Sort of yes, sort of no. Every month we get
Not
a nice
really.
little PSO2 NGS
Couple things we want to got put up behind a paywall.
Following month. Some headlines felt like they announced a big plate of nothing, and then some headlines felt like they answered a few of our selective prayers. But the main point I'm getting to, at least, is that through the good and bad times we've had, they've still remained consistent and reliable to continue giving us monthly updates.
Yeah, which is honestly really good on that end. Like, you gotta give them credit on that, especially during like the moments of really like nothing. But don't get me wrong, I would say probably over the last year, there have been leaked probably like 3 headline streams that actually got me excited, and yet my excitement was more in the moment and not really meant to be long term, because most of the excitement, you know, like anything NGS is. After the fourth few days, nobody cares we're doing it anymore, and it doesn't matter anymore, and we all just living in a cycle that just slowly taking us into the abyss. But with that being said, though, they'll deal with a handful of exciting headline streams in there, so at least do that. So I get that good. Mind?
Meaning, with whatever limitations of staff and resources and time to fix bugs and create content, they still delivered on keeping the game updated on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
You know, that says a lot about a game that started with probably one of the worst launches that could have possibly imagined.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm sure on some capacity Sega regrets launching the game in the state it was in, but that's Sega for you.
I still say, like to this day, I don't think I've ever played an MMO in my day. Like, don't get me wrong, every MMO is broken, doesn't operate, server login, it doesn't matter, that happened, that's not surprising. But man, that launch, I'm feeling like 2 camps on it. First of all, that launch should have been labeled at early access, or like they did for bait PSO, where like, hey, this is open beta, and then like 6 months later it'll be like, okay, we now out of open beta, and now this is 1.0. They would have done that. I still say that would have fixed a lot, not fixed a lot issue, but at least would have put people ideal in check. The second issue on that end of like, I don't think I've ever played an MMO that literally took me almost a month to finally get menu working where I could actually upgrade my character. Because if you go back and watch like all launch streams, which are all available right here on YouTube. If you go back and watch now, it took us like weeks before we got to a point where I could actually start augmenting, start building a weapon, start being able to do the content. Like, and the reason why it took us like almost like a week among itself to any beat the main story originally, because I couldn't open menu because the menu wouldn't load, they wouldn't work, and it just like, and then Sega being like so silent doing all that, and yet, let's be honest, all that is a shit ton of red tape between Global and JP, but just like no communication beyond the bare minimum, the menu problem, somewhat stability, I would say it was fine, and if there was huge spikes of lag and menu didn't work, but hey, I don't remember getting kicked out of the game that often, so hills and valleys, I guess. But yeah, like, and then on top of that, with how many eyes was on NGS, like out the front where there was like giant content creator covering it, or was gonna cover it, till they heard about how bad the launch was, with how many people that was actually interested in playing it, it was insane. It was like probably the height that we will ever see just got squandered within a few hours to like a day to a day and a half. And the game, like, I follow like a public outlook, not counting us who are in the community who play PSO, not counting us because, you know, as he stated at the beginning, you know, we choose to be here, which that says something about us. But like the outside community, like so quickly, all that good grace, it would just squander. And that is still like the biggest shame about the launch of PSO2. Like 100%. Yeah, but lucky I came in a year after. You really was seeing. You was absolutely was lucky you came in that late. But yeah, back to it, chat.
They seem to do things half right most of the time for the games they publish. Meanwhile, during the development over those 2 years, a lot of the community has been kicking and screaming about how this sucks and that's unfinished, and yeah, I was right along with them. At one point, I was hoping the game would just shut down.
It literally me every time we talk about mechanics, and we go into the diatribes of like hour-long, like freaking like game dev like speeches I give. Like, my God, that's how you know we all killed, chat.
And we'd get some kind of full Final Fantasy XI revival. Do I feel bad talking shit about something people worked hard on?
Preach it, Bottle. Preach it. Preach the holy spirit of Final Fantasy XI revival. Yes. Burn it all to the ground. Blame back Final Fantasy XI. Sega, I know Horizon are doing a great job right now. But, not Sega, I mean Square Enix. Do it. Do it. Let me, get rid of Play Online. We know it's possible. Give it to us. I'm sorry the tangent, he brought up Final Fantasy XI. You know how excited I get when we talk about Final Fantasy XI. Anyway.
Yeah, kinda. But then again, don't forget, this game is basically trying to be a Chuck E. Cheese for anime weebs. How many tickets I gotta buy until you guys start giving us something good enough?
Yeah,
so let's talk about what we've gotten so far and where we are now and where the game's going. And, you know, is Salon ever gonna be free, or is the director for this game ever gonna show his face? And are we gonna get rid of all the petty drama lords and pedophiles? Well, let's do a sort of generalization of what we've gotten so far. It's been lots of bug fixes, quality life improvements, a couple new weapons, minor combat improvements, plenty.
By the way, for anyone who's not aware, the weather system, to actually know when weather is happening for the giant PSC group battle stuff or super bosses to show up, it took them 2 years to put in a freaking button that show when it's storming outside. Any of that been a big part of content pretty much since launch almost. Just an example of the whole missing content outside of obvious common sense. Just saying.
Cosmetics and 4 new explorable areas with some new stuff to fight. Oh yeah, and also story content. Oddly enough, as much as I didn't give one fuck about the story or the characters, that last update that actually dropped felt like one of the most meaningful pieces of lore we have ever gotten for New Genesis. And it's primarily due to the fact that there are some actual meaningful context now, and some weight was finally added to the high stakes, and finally, they actually developed a character. Does it feel like they pulled this out of their ass in the last moment? Originally, I would have said yes. But even
I still say that's still just episode 1. Because like I said, I literally go play episode 1 of PSO2. Exactly the same.
Even if that was the case, what we get presented with at the end of this current saga actually all makes worthwhile to be a part of this experience. As well, the last boss battle was a ton of fun. Thank God. So even if it took them this long to make me feel like anything for the money they spent on developing this story, I'm glad they did what they did. And even though it feels like it might have been made up as the updates dropped, there are actually a ton of clues outside of the story.
Yeah, a lot of foreshadowing.
Possibly being kind of well thought out. I mean, doing a well-produced AAA story on a Sega-sized budget is probably tricky as hell. Personally,
yeah, because that was the biggest thing about it. And, like, you could tell the story was planned out with the stuff they put in. Because, like I said, it's still my favorite quest chain. And Cavalis was talking about the planet being not a real planet. Like, I ate that up. Like, that stuff was great. And just the problem is, you know, all the greatness was just surrounded around, like, the mediocreness of the characters in the story and the paper thin, and then being like, oh, you want character development? Go read the web comment that may or may not be canon. And just like, you know. But yeah, they wasn't wrong. Oh, he's not wrong on that. They did do a good job at all, like, building. The problem is, like, the bigger issue is the players have questions. The character did not. And then on top of that, character constantly was, especially with Manon with the wolves about that, for obvious reason now, but of contradicting itself and contradicting what the story is telling. And then you get that, like, just to appeal to what the players are noticing and putting together, appeal to what the characters in the story care about, and then having a character that just randomly were doing stuff that contradict everybody. And it just made everything feel pointless. And that probably was the worst part about the story up to that final chapter. You know, it just was like, the design aspect of the environment story is great, but the second a character had to open his mouth or do anything, it was horrible up to literally the last, like, hour of the game with the expansion.
If I was in charge of this game, I would have done a new zone each year and filled it with meaningful content along the way, but that would be a very 4 long years, stuck in some medium-sized open-world maps. Instead, we got 4 zones in 2 years, lumped in with a bunch of standard-level stuff.
I don't want to yield them pennying out.
Aware of the fact that we've been in some kind of beta early access game, even if Sega didn't have the balls to admit it.
Damn right.
Now that they got this all laid out as some kind of fantasy...
We are now officially at 1.0. I'm with him 100%. I've been saying it forever. If they would have just set all the assets up to that point, everybody's opinion would have been in check. Don't get me wrong, there would still been people very angry, but at that point, I feel like the majority of video game players out there have been trained, good or bad, to what all the asset means. And you know something? Elite Wayfinder will have the ball to call it all the assets. Go play Wayfinder, chat, when it comes out in May. Anyway, sorry. I had to go about Wayfinder.
Star Playground. Maybe I've been wrong to judge their plans. If you look at the entire package of what we have so far, they've basically set themselves up to start dropping some quality horizontal content updates here. Lots of opportunity to mix things up and possibly giving us some new things to play with. Is that gonna happen? And is the future content gonna be any good? I have no fucking clue, and I'm not.
Or we just gonna leave the planet and we just gonna pretend like none of this happened and we just start completely over. I hope you guys ready for Alio 2.0 chat. Being that same.
Not even counting on it. If anything, I can just go play some other shit if they start killing their own game. What I can tell you is that I'm pretty excited for the things coming. But before I start even talking about the easy stuff, like the new exciting content dropping soon, there's something else I want to throw in here. This game has felt like it's been dropped off of the local city dump and we're just a bunch of crackheads trying to find some copium in the garbage. I mean, where do you think I got this piece of shit shirt from? Look at this thing. It's barely got any textures. I feel like I'm wearing some kind of PlayStation 2 graphics. Did I just talk shit about myself? When are you guys gonna give me a fucking updated version of this shirt? You know what, never mind.
Sometimes the garbage is good,
Even though this game has felt like some kind of weird internet home for a few of us, and we're all excited to see the new shit coming our way, it feels like nobody really knows about this game anymore. Will it ever reach Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft, or Animal Soccer World levels of popularity?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. I'm not even going to
No one cares outside the community.
We even have the gonads to spend the resources and, more importantly, the time to make a real AAA game. Besides dropping new content, doing a bunch of fixes, and adding in long overdue quality of life improvements.
Literally, literally hitting what I talked. Oh God, I'm hitting the button. He literally hitting like what I'm talking about of just like. Well, welcome to the stagnation of PSO. The player base will not really go up or go down. Might lose 1,000, gain 1,000, vice versa. But this is the game. Like, I thought, like, outside of this, you know, the, like, 20, 30,000 people, maybe a million if we bring in JP and some PS4 at best, like, close to 1 million players. This is just PSO. That, like me, the bait game, ball head, it look awful close up, yep. Yeah, they would deal, like, outfits and stuff like that. Hell, they would deal some outfit any in, like, PSO2 spec that, or New Genesis spec that don't look great.
Just trying to keep its current player base, this game has an even bigger issue. Growing its player base.
Exactly, yep.
Why do I even give a shit about that in the first place? Now, I wouldn't call selling virtual goods with an online expiration date a ethically driven piece of built software, but there's something kind of special happening right now. We're at the point where we might get to see the first parts of PSO2 NGS's underdog moment in its entire history. Or at least I hope so.
I don't think so. We'll quick on that. I know we're pausing a lot on it. I'm sorry, chat. But I honestly, because this is the thing, I'm in two camps. My fourth camp is I don't think we will. If anything, the player base might become more happier, but I don't foresee it being like an underdog by any statement. It more just some, like, the player base copium finally paying off in one way or another. Because I kind of feel like if we want to actually get beyond that and get into, like, a real underdog story, is that going to involve Sega doing things outside of the game? That going to involve, once again, going to involve Sega actually caring about the content creators beyond, what they do. Once again, this is not a slight toward the global team. Global team is great. They are fantastic, chat. But Sega Japan as a whole, or Japan as a whole, which this is another issue, how Japan, look at content creators that, more of a nuisance at best. But, so once again, not talking about global, Japan as a whole here with Sega. Start caring about them content creators, especially content creators that not just tied to an agency. I'm looking at you, VTubers, once again. No beef against you guys. But at the same time, it's like, and on top of that, not only caring about the content creator they do have, they need to also look into, like, how the game industry is run nowadays, especially outside Japan, because staying isolated to Japan can only do so much for them. But at the same time, we have talked about this before, where Japan is refreshing, being they just want Japan money. They don't care about all the money, where every other gaming company want all the money. This is very much a JP problem, but which may be good depending on how you want to look at that. But with that being said, like, if they want it to actually grow, content creators need to be treated better. They need to actually be reaching out more so to not just content creators, but also other lines of creativity. So not just YouTube, not just Twitch. Start reaching out to, people on Twitter, TikTok. Start, like, giving them incentives to cover. Then on top of that, actually start putting some money into the advertisement outside of Facebook ads. We need actual, like, proper ads outside of one or two updates. I know they do it. Like, you can see trailers and stuff popping up on, like I said, Facebook mainly, sometimes on YouTube, maybe Twitch. I have seen some Twitch ads in the past, like 4 pages ago, like around Alio, Slack, Cavallis, and Watain. I haven't seen any recently. But, like, start actually giving it a marketing budget in need. And then on top of that is the other thing here is they need to have the marketing not only be, everywhere, like I said, might be YouTube ads, Twitch ads, content creator stuff, but also marketing that don't seem isolated. Because, like, example is, with the new Slayer trailer, as example, let's say that with you for, actual ad, which it might have in some places. I'm like, nothing about that ad screams, I want to play this game. It very much screams like, oh, I played that game. Oh, the new crap. And, like, very much preaching to the audience that is there or on the fence, that, the people that only come back every couple of months. Which, let's be honest, the smaller players here. But, as I say, I'm not that. So I'm in the dumb group with the rest of you. Don't feel bad, chat. But yeah, and then also being able to, like, market it in a way that also, like, no matter how much we love them dumb voiceover trailers that we have got in the past, it's like, like, you very specifically need to, like, actually look at your audience, which, let's be honest, is one hand an MMO player, one hand anime people, on the other hand Final Fantasy 14, and actually be able to market to that. And I just don't think Sega gonna give the finance to do that outside Japan. And Japan is its own thing with it, already being like, that is right there in the like the pedestal net to Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest in Japan. So, the marketing is needed, but not nearly as insane as would be outside of Japan. But the thing is that, like I have talked about before, I don't think Sega cares. I really, really just think Sega, like, this is only in the West because Microsoft gives up money. Once we can get it done and over with and move back to, like, whatever the next game will be, let's just make it Japan only and not deal with it. And, like, that vibe, I just feel so strong, and that vibe on top of that of, like, at that point, why would they care about growing the game, especially in the global market? Because in Japan, you got the default people that grew up with it. You marketing towards, like, the VTuber companies that are huge in Japan. Like, you got your pop idols and whatnot, and, you good. The whole thing is, like, growing in Japan probably not going to be that much of an issue, but overall, Japan is only so big, but I really don't think Sega cares, to be totally honest, like, outside of that, but I agree, it do need to change. I would love to be on the marketing team on this, just to heal some of the details of this, and hopefully that will happen, but I still stand with my stagnation, what PSO is in the West and what PSO will always be in the West.
There have been so many of us who have been so frustrated with the game this entire time. I think that's because we can all see the potential of what this game could do if it ever got the right content. Maybe that's why I kind of give a shit about it. And with new creative spaces coming our way, New Genesis is finally giving itself that opportunity to go in the right direction. I have no idea how long it took them to develop something like this, but it seems pretty cool. You're able to save and share blueprints you created, search up people's spaces, and even modify the shape and size of objects and decorations. There's a lot of things people are going to do with this once it releases.
Oh, and hell yeah, we're doing the Luna Talk chat.
Community in all kinds of new ways that we have all been waiting for.
By we, mainly the social players. Because let's be honest, which I'm happy for. I'm absolutely happy the social players are finally getting something. Absolutely. They needed it. Because, my God, you think, us carrot on the thick people have had it rough the last 2 years. Poor souls that just sit in the lobby and use it as a chat room.
Oh, did you want me to keep shitting on the game or something? Of course there's a ton of shit they still need to do. You guys don't even know how badly I'm still pissing and shitting myself over the fact that Braver is nothing like base PSO2's Braver. For better or for worse. This game still has a lot of things it needs to do in order to feel like a full package. So if some of you are a bit hesitant to come back and check out the game, I don't blame you. PSO2 NGS pissed off a lot of
longer you wait, the better it is.
It's gonna have to do a lot of work to try and get its entire audience back. I don't know if that Ultra Evolution update is gonna just be the creative space upgrade, but
man, I'm honestly wouldn't doubt that would be it. Cause I do feel like that gonna be the case. They need the player base all being like, oh, they're gonna rebound the job. All the jobs are gonna be like Slay, or we're gonna get new content short, and all the console coming back. They doing it like. See, I think there's like one of them cases of like, when people see like these types of titles, such as the Ultra Evolution update, people mind instantly go to around Reborn. Which is not Sega fault, technically, because, that was a happenstance that somehow worked. But at the same time, it's like, I wouldn't doubt there being nothing more than, like, he'll create a faces, okay, we rebalancing some of the classes, they get a little bit of change, like a buff or debuff here and there, nothing too drastic. And then just being like, oh yeah, somebody, like, cosmetic and weapon, now you got a new NPC that you can, like, trade in items and get ult up. But the thing is that you're going to unlock all these in, like, 5 seconds because we're going to want a campaign for, like, a month. Just, like, prep tickets. And then after a month, you're going to have enough prep tickets to buy everything the second it go live. So, not like it really add anything to the content grind or anything. That's the way I kind of foresee that going. To be honest, like, I hope it will be like a Round Reborn, but I'm not holding my breath. I am not holding my breath at all about this.
But by the time I release this video, the gunblade weapon will have been released, and I think it's going to be a good addition to the game. Let's just hope they do the rest of the weapons the same justice. Or if they don't, then it'll just give me more bullshit to talk about in the
Literally
next
what
video.
you're talking about. Like, it'd be nice if they just made every crap play like, in one way or another, similar to Slayer. You know, I thought like input up to actually add a little more depth to it, since who knows if we ever going to get like PA levels again. That might not even happen, so.
Thanks for getting me to 1K subs, everyone. I can't pump out content
Good
as
job,
fast
everybody.
as I would like right now, but every time I see a new subscriber,
Give him love,
it
chat.
motivates me that much more to make videos when I can.
I know we're not big by any means, but the dude does all about love, chat.
Really interesting things I want to do myself, but we all know those new decorations are going to be thrown into those scratch tickets to get that sweet, sweet FOMO money.
It's not going to be
At
free.
least the erotic roleplay harems are going to make a ton of cash for the game.
Not Wong. Not Wong, chat. But you know it's going to, chat. Like that to be honest, the only worry I have about housing, like no matter how great it hopefully will be for the social players, but with that being said, yeah, they will absolutely shove all that behind a paywall. Let's not kid ourselves. Hell, we probably might have to buy like anything beyond a basic wall. Hell, they might even be like, hey, you wanna, cause we still haven't heard about this. I wouldn't put Pat Sega being like, hey, you know that ground that you can go up and down on? That premium only. Hopefully that's not the case, but we will see. But yeah, like, my only worry about it would be like, how are they gonna organize that in a functioning way? And will that actually break up the player base at all, depending on how they like organize it? And I know they said like the creative base at 100 slots. I think I might feel better if Sega would say like, how big is like Alio block, like, or Alio town, like, or Central City, I mean. How big is it? Is it roughly the same base? Is it bigger? Is it smaller? I'd be interested to know that, but yeah, don't get me wrong. It's like Final Fantasy 14 had show player will figure out where all the cool places are. But hopefully a lot of great stuff come out of that. I would love to see like the same degree that you see in like 14 with like, hey, these are the nightclubs, these, you know, these are like the hotels, these are the roleplay zone, and then hopefully Sega don't just ban everybody. But but nonetheless, like, I'm hopeful, but at the same time realistic about where we are going with this. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm expecting mediocrity. You know, just like bare minimum of nothingness is what I'm expecting. But if we did get something, I'm going to be excited. But nonetheless, there you go, chat. Here you go. Well, the shell button. I love the shell button. There you go. Here you go. Go follow PS. Go follow him if you haven't already. Subscribe. Do the thingy. Do all the thingies. Because he's great. Also play Wave Final and play Final Fantasy 11. But nonetheless, though, like, if you're watching it live, we're not done. We got more videos. But if you're watching it after the fact over on YouTube, once again, link in the description to his video so you can go give all the love over there. And be sure to do subscribe and hit all the buttons. And I probably will put on the screen everybody that is subscribed on Patreon and YouTube and Twitch and whatnot. Subscribed already. Good job, CM. You're doing the holy filled work of subscribing and talking about Final Fantasy 11. Good job, CM. And yeah. So for everybody watching live, we will continue. But for everybody over on YouTube, you're gonna get a live chat. You better enjoy this. If you're on YouTube after the fact, I will see you in Diana Queemy in the comments. May I help you, cat? May I help you? This is the content you're missing by not being here live.